What's going on? Steele right here, back with another episode on the Real Steele Pod. On this episode, we got Mack Howard, recent Sanford football commit quarterback out of Columbus, Mississippi. So it'll be a great episode. It was a great conversation to sit down and talk with him and touch base on what he's got going on right now. His recent commitment to Sanford, all his different transitions he's had in his career by going to Oxford High School and then going to University of Utah and now transitioning over to Sanford. Anyway, it was a great conversation. Be sure to hit that like button. Be in the comment section about what y'all want to see next, who y'all want to see next on the Real Steele Pod. And also hit that subscribe button. Subscribe. Obviously, we need to be more consistent with the channel. But, with all that being said, let's get into the episode. Welcome back, Real Steele Pod, episode 4. We've got a special one for y'all today. Sorry about the wait. Just school and everything just kind of caught up with us. But we got a special one today. Sanford quarterback commit, Mack Howard. So, Mack, thanks for joining us on the show.
Appreciate you, Steele.
Yeah, for sure. We're just going to take it back, just early beginnings. You played everything, basketball, football, even baseball too, right?
Yeah.
So just how did you kind of narrow down that process to being just strictly football, this is what you want to do?
Well, I think, being probably elementary school, played everything like you said. And once I got to about 7th grade, I realized that, football is probably my best shot to play college sports at. And so once I kind of realized that, I kind of just put my main focus on football and kind of like just specialized in quarterback training up until then. And, I was fortunate to get offers and ended up going to Utah and now I'm going to be heading back home.
Yeah, for sure. And you also have a background with football. Your dad played at LSU. Was that kind of a factor as well, like to kind of pursue that route?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, looking up to him, obviously, wanted to be just like him. And I think that ended up making a huge factor in kind of my decision, wanting to play football. So that definitely had a lot to do with it.
Who else would you say you kind of like looked up to in the football world that you kind of wanted to idolize your game after?
Kind of growing up watching Tom Brady, I feel like he's somebody you can look up to. He's kind of like, I guess, every quarterback's always, it's probably going to be the generic answer. So definitely Tom Brady. He that's kind of the first quarterback I remember watching.
Okay. Well, as well, like you talked about, we'll get to the transfer and like the Sanford thing, but even like in high school at Heritage Academy, like how was that, being there? Because obviously you didn't finish there, but like how was, building relationships and playing football there and every other sport? How was that, growing up?
That was really good. I think a lot of my best friends in the world got Heritage. So growing up playing with them, obviously we played together.
Yeah.
We had some really good times there, and those relationships, they mean something. So being somewhere where I could grow and develop, and that was really special to me.
Yeah, I think we all for me, I definitely took a little bit of it for granted. Like, especially in the moment, you don't know how big those moments are with all those people, like the memories you make. Yeah. Like, it's just so big. But as you transition your senior year, you decide to go to Oxford High School. Like, talk about that decision. That's a big move. Like, for anybody, like, that change, that transition. Like, what was that like, the move? Like, what made you want to make that transition?
I think I wanted to go play the best competition. I felt like the only way I could really continue to develop myself would be to do that. And, went there, and it was unbelievable experience. Got to play the best teams in the state, and just to see what else was out there. And that was really good, and I'm really happy that I did it.
Yeah, for sure. How was that transition, like having to get to know everybody, new coaching staff, new players, new teammates, new area? Like, how was that adjustment?
It was tough because Heritage obviously is 450 kids, so you go to a school with, there's that many kids in my grade, so going there was definitely different, but it ended up being a great transition. At first it was hard because I didn't know really where I was going around the school or anything, so you get lost. But then I got comfortable and ended up meeting some great people and having a good time there. Yeah.
So what would you say some good memories from high school were, like whether it was at Heritage Academy or Oxford High School? What are some kind of things that stand out to you about your high school career?
I'd say winning the 2 state championships are probably the most exciting. And then our basketball championship, 8th grade year, that overall.
Yeah.
So, that was really fun. And there's so many things that I could say, but those really stick out the most,
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, you graduate early from Oxford High School, commit to Utah. Talk to us about, that big jump to high school to college and why you chose Utah coming out of high school.
It's really my 11th grade year is really when I started getting offers, and actually at Heritage it was in January. Utah's OC came down to watch me throw the ball. He ended up offering me afterwards, and kind of from there our recruitment kind of just took off with them. Ended up taking a visit in March of that year. Ended up committing on that visit. So then, fast forward to December, I ended up getting there, and that was it was a transition, so it was tough at first, really tough at first. I mean, it's any college program, but then ended up really kind of feel like blossoming my game while I was there, and kind of polishing up some things that I needed to work on, and it was a really good experience there. But then they just want to get closer to home.
For sure. How would you say the transition from Oxford High School, like having to learn everything on the fly, new things? How did that prepare you when you went to Utah initially?
It was tough, you get to Oxford. I mean, Oxford had a quarterback, I had to go in and compete right away. I had to kind of pick up the offense on the fly. I mean, we get 9 weeks to the spring game.
Yeah.
So, you're fighting, you're in a competition, you're also trying to figure out the offense and then meet new people.
Right.
So that was really tough, but, I'm thankful for it. I think that experience helped me a lot.
Yeah, so especially like going to Salt Lake, I mean, that's a whole new region as well, especially like we talked about from Oxford, now you're going to Salt Lake City, Utah. Like, I bet that was just a different world itself, not outside of football. So how did you manage like adjusting to Salt Lake, and how the strenuous schedule of football is and school? Like, how did you manage all that?
I think the hardest thing, or probably the biggest thing about that is, you kind of just got to be focused, man. You got to know your priorities are, and you kind of just got to keep your head straight, because if you don't, you'll get caught up. Salt Lake's a big city. I mean, there's a lot to do there. I mean, a lot of outdoor stuff. But at the end of the day, I know I was there to play football. So and then other thing too was just keeping up my schoolwork too.
Yeah, for sure.
That's big. So that was it was definitely tough. You're going to. I mean, there's probably 25,000 people from my hometown once a year.
Yeah.
And then so going there was a different experience, but I'm thankful for it.
What would you say year one, college football? What did you learn? What did it teach you? What can you take away from being at Utah for your first year of college football?
Definitely like accountability, and probably just learning how to just fight through adversity. Because when you're in college, I mean, it's a lot different than high school. I mean, everybody's the star on their high school football team, and then you get there and it's like it's eye opening,
For sure.
So but I learned a lot. I mean, I got to play with or be around Cam Rising all the time, so that was awesome.
What did you learn from Cam Rising? I mean, that's a big time player. Also going to be back next year as well. But like, what was that experience like?
I'd say being around Cam all the time was just Cam's probably the hardest worker in the room, and he's also probably going to be one of your smartest guys too on the whole team. I mean, if not, he probably is the smartest, because I mean he knows the offense like the back of his hand. I mean, so getting to be around him and be around him in meetings and just kind of seeing the way he acts and interacts with the coach was cool, and something that I could learn from.
Yeah, for sure. What would you say your best moment or memory from Utah? Like a big game or just anything like that?
Probably the Florida game.
Game
was sick.
Yeah,
the Florida game was sick. The opening up on a Thursday night, first play of the game, Bryson Barnes throws a 70-yard bomb.
Yeah, I remember.
To open up the game. So that was that place was rocking.
I bet.
Yeah.
So we close that chapter on the book at Utah. You decide to enter the portal. What kind of led you to that decision, and how did you end up at Sanford? Like, what were the main factors in that decision?
So I mean, biggest thing, Cam decided he's gonna come back for 7th year, and then they kind of want to get closer to home too. I mean, it was a great experience at Utah, but definitely get closer to home. So make that decision, put my name in the portal, probably get a call from around 15 coaches right when I put my name in. Got a lot of G5 offers, and then Sanford called me, or actually that's not true. Virginia Tech called, and then Sanford ended up calling, and I just thought Sanford, I mean, kind of have familiarity with them, being close. I was like, man, I really like this school. So Coach Hatcher, the head coach, ended up coming visiting me, and we had a really good visit. And then I went there, and then I told my dad after I want to go to school there. I think it just made the most sense with the offense they run, very similar to whatever in high school. So
Yeah, that's a big thing. Like just what their offense is. Like how much did you really dive into Sanford before you made that decision about like what they run, like how their strength and conditioning program is, their facilities, like et cetera, like any of that stuff?
yeah, so I mean, yeah, they obviously we met with their strength conditioning coach. We wrote the medical staff, and they're good people, and they run a really tight ship over there. I think obviously Sanford is a very competitive football team. I mean, they're gonna be one of the best teams in the FCS every year. I feel like. I mean, if you take out 2 games this year, I think that was Auburn and I can't off the top of my head, but they lost 2 really close games this year. So
yeah. Well, I'm sure you just talked about their past schedule. I'm sure you've been looking at their future schedule coming up for this year. What are some games you're kind of looking forward to on that?
First game, definitely at Florida.
The Swamp, baby. There we go.
At Florida. Yeah, so I'm fired up for that. I think that'll be a really fun game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely that one.
Yeah.
Most.
Have y'all been getting a lot of transfers in? As obviously you, but like y'all been kind of active in the portal lately?
Yeah, so Ray Fenson, Miss, and then got a running back from Toledo as well. So fired up for that. Yeah,
that'll be good. What would you say year 2 for you? Going to a new school and another transition. Nothing new, but what are some goals for you and this new group that you're going to be with?
I'll just be the best I can be. Honestly, at the end of the day, that's all that matters. The rest will take care of itself. And just, I think that's probably the biggest one. Just, be the best I can be and, just trust God and just, whatever happens, happens.
Let the chips fall where they may. Yeah, that's great, man. Well, we're just going to get into some quick hitters, just some random questions, just first thing that pops in your head. Right. So we're just going to do those a couple minutes. So what if you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go? Anywhere.
Ooh, that's a tough one. Honestly, I'd probably say Turks and Caicos.
Yes, yeah, I've told my parents about that.
Turks and Caicos. It's pretty sweet.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Favorite meal? It can be like a combo meal or just one thing. Like, what's your favorite go-to meal?
Probably country fried steak and gravy.
Yeah, from where? Does it have to be from somewhere? Or?
Doesn't have to be from anywhere, but preferably, I like Doug and Hazel's.
Yes,
yeah.
Doug and Hazel's.
Doug and Hazel's.
That's
got
a good spot.
On.
It's a good spot.
Yeah, so probably that right there.
Okay. Favorite vacation you've been on?
We went to Africa when I was in 4th grade.
Yeah,
it's pretty sweet.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet. One was safari and got to shoot some animals over there. It was fun.
Okay. Fun. Favorite artist, favorite musician, if you have one.
Riley Green.
Yes.
Yep.
Have you ever seen him in concert?
I haven't.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
You should. I've seen him once. It was a pretty good experience. Let me think. Favorite sports team, just outside of like you playing and like you like watching.
LSU
for sure.
With my dad playing there, so yeah,
for sure.
LSU.
Okay, last one. How would you like to be remembered for your college football career? Like obviously you're in year 2, but like how would people like to remember like Mack Howard? Like what do you want to be remembered by? And like what's your kind of goal?
Just remember as a gritty football player.
Yeah,
just kind of tenacious. Yeah, just kind of have that kind of grit to you, and just be a tough guy. And hopefully, like you said, just be the best I can be too, and the rest will take care of itself. Yep, absolutely. Well, that's gonna wrap it up for episode 4 on the Real Steele Pod. Thanks for joining us, Mack. Thank you. Hit us up in the comments, whoever you want to see next. We'll try to get on, and hopefully, we'll get somebody on for episode 5. So we'll see you soon.